As I stated in the AV hearing we had a couple of weeks back, my main concern in the automotive marketplace is maintaining consumer choice. That means internal combustion engines as well as EVs, cars that we drive and cars that drive themselves, and the ability to use independent repair and aftermarket shops as well as the dealerships. The free market actually works. I want to thank Dr. Dunn for the legislation he's brought today. Ms. Callahan, and I hate that that instance happened in South Carolina that you mentioned, but thanks for being here today. As the owner of ExpertTech Auto Repair, what would you say the ratio is to auto dealerships and independent repair shops? I know in my county it's probably 5 independent small business repair shops to every 1 dealership. What do you think across the nation? Is it 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 3 to 1? Just guess.
Thanks for the question, Congressman. I have to be honest, I'm not sure of that answer. I know dealerships own about 30% of the bays across the country. In my particular market, we have, within our small area, we have 1 dealership to 15 independent repair shops.
Yeah, these are small, independent, privately owned, small businesses usually. For the most part, I take mine to an independent mechanic, friend of mine, but I have the choice to take it to a dealership if I want to. Unfortunately, I had a 1967 Ford F-150 Sport Ranger pickup. I think I had a 302. I could climb in and work on it. It was so big and the engine was so simple. But anyway, what are the specific issues you're seeing right now with the ability to repair?
Immediately, most recently, as I said, I'm seeing paywalls that have never been there before. Which creates an accessibility issue for basic information. Not being able to reach certain modules in the computer through our scan tools, they're just blocked out, where we can't diagnose basic misfire repairs sometimes with certain manufacturers. So, as a small business owner, I've made a decision to stop servicing certain vehicle makes and models completely, so that I don't not look like a professional to my client.
Thank you. Are there automakers that you deal with who aren't operating within the memorandum of understanding?
As I said earlier, we've seen historical data with most of the European manufacturers consistently. I will say the Stellantis group is probably, of the U.S. automakers, one of the worst offenders. They make it very, very difficult to do business with and service their vehicles, especially when it comes to electronics.
Yeah, thank you for that. I have a 06 Chevy Duramax diesel. I'm having some code issues on this glow plugs. So anyway, love to talk to you. I'm going to shift gears. Mr. Toohey, I know you have the venue perspective on this ticketing issue. I wonder if we had the artist perspective, how would that differ? For instance, does Bruce Springsteen support the Boss Act that's named for him?
I can't speak to Bruce Springsteen himself, but in general, the venues support the artist perspective. The venues serve 2 customers in general, and the customer that's buying the ticket and the customer that's coming to perform.
Yeah.
So our interests align typically with the artist.
I think he does. Taylor Swift, does she support the Boss Act and the Swift Act, or is this just another piece of covert narcissism, to quote one of her lyrics?
I think, as I stated in my testimony, there are good aspects to the Boss and Swift Act, but there are improvements needed to really make it effective.
Yeah, I would note that the Recording Academy has noted its strong opposition to Boston Swift while supporting a ban on speculative ticketing and the provision in Chairman Bilirakis' Ticket Act. And I'll echo my support for their position here. Artists should be able to choose how their music performances are sold. It's their music. And I hope that as we move forward, Mr. Chairman, on this issue, we'll always keep the artist perspective in mind. I have opinions on songwriters. I have opinions on artists and how money flows through it, protecting those that actually create the product that the performers sing. And with that, I yield back.